I guess I should just start by saying thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to start by giving a huge thank you to my top tier Wizard Master patrons. Chris, Nico, Cody, Sharon, Spyro, Patrick, Leslie, Ryan, Jennifer, Mindolin, Ystitch, Twainy, Jordan, and Reading Rainbow. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I'm Andrew, and today it is the monthly wrap-up, but not only that guys, we hit 2,000 subscribers here on the channel this last month, and so in order to celebrate, I have got some exciting news that I will announce at the end of the video. But as always guys, make sure you're liking and subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. And guys, it has been a incredible reading month. I've had DNFs. I've been kind of working on with this not for now thing, NFNs as I've heard it mentioned and used as. It's been working for me, and it's also helped me kind of transition into this kind of mood reading or MBR, like, you know, might be read mindset, and it's really working for me, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm gonna try and start working on stop saying really or very, but you know, it's what happens in the moment. So let's start with what either got DNF'd or NFN'd. DNF'd was, I think I only had one DNF this month, and that would be Soulkeeper by David Dalglish. Oh no, I had two DNFs. There was Soulkeeper by David Dalglish, the whole trilogy, just kind of, I read the first 10 chapters twice on Soulkeeper, and it just wasn't grabbing me. There were some interesting concepts that I think some readers will really enjoy, but I don't think for me personally, for my reading taste, it set that hook quite fast enough. And then another one, and I don't know if people are gonna start flipping tables at me, City of Stairs, the Divine Cities trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. I tried this one, and like some people predicted I would really enjoy this. There I go with that really again. And it wasn't working for me. I didn't really identify or connect with that main character, and then in the end, it just kind of fell flat for me. And so I made it about 30% in, and I just decided this probably isn't for me. I also know that each book gets a new protagonist and things of that nature, and I wasn't super excited about it. And then on my NFN list is Children of Ruin by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I really loved Children of Time, and I got about 40% into Children of Ruin, and I was just like, where's the magic? Where's those interesting concepts that the first book had that just kind of felt like they were missing in this one? And so ultimately I'm like, you know, maybe I'm just not on the right headspace. I've been very sleep deprived. There's that very again. I've been sleep deprived, and so I've just kind of not been really paying attention. So I've been struggling with sci-fi. And another one that kind of just got pushed for, yeah, maybe not right now, is Houses of the Sun by Alistair Reynolds, which is like one of his sci-fi standalones. And I did a video with Jonathan from Words in Time, and I agreed to read this one. I'm going to give myself to the end of the year to pick this one back up and try it again, because I was reading, and like I said, I was sleep deprived. And I lost the story thread and didn't realize it, and so I kept reading, going, maybe it's just not clicking yet. And then I was like, oh no, I'm just lost. And by that point in time, I was already 30 to 40% into the book, had no idea where I needed to go back to in order to kind of pick back up where I had left off. And I was like, you know, we'll come back to this one later. And then I had been reading, I was going to be reading the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. And I really liked Grace of Kings, but I wasn't... So I put more chunky books on my TBR than I intended to. And so when I finally got to this one and I just saw the chunk, I was just like, guys, I'm chonked out. And so it's like, you know what? Grace of Kings was good enough that I could just kind of be like, you know what? I really enjoyed that experience. I can wait a few months to come back to it, because I've heard the first 50% of this, everybody who was taking part in Ian's read-along was like, yeah, the first like 50% is kind of slow. And then like the last 50% makes it one of the best books ever written, apparently. And I was like, I want to be in the correct mindset to enjoy that. and hopefully have that same experience as the other people in the buddy read. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just kind of not do that. I then did 2 arcs from NetGalley. And I had kind of middling to mixed responses from these. These were my first 2 arcs I ever did. That's Flames of Mira. I give that, I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. It was an enjoyable read with really good concepts. It's like this subterranean world and lots of discussions on morality, and none of these characters are really good people. But it's Clay Harmon's fantasy debut, and it was awesome. I do have a dedicated video review for this one coming out. And I think that it will delight readers for years to come, especially if we get to explore more worlds from this, or more works in this world from this author. And then I also read Daughter of Red Winter by Ed McDonald. And this one was very mixed for me, because I thought it had a very strong hook at the beginning, and also a fairly strong ending. But that middle portion was just not enjoyable to me. And so I think I gave that one a 3 out of 5. I did do a Goodreads review for that one, so if you want to head over to my Goodreads, you can check that one out as well. And that said, guys, I had a really good reading month. I won't say I'm the 5-star strumpet again, because it was, fairly mixed. But, I started the month with Prince of Fools by Mark Lawrence. This is book 1 in the Red Queen's War. And it was nice to be back in the Broken Empire with Jalen and Snorri? Snorri Versnagerson, I think is his name. It's a really silly name. Or am I thinking of the right series? I don't know. I kind of like this one. It was kind of a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Mainly because it felt like it was kind of leaning a little too heavily on the initial trilogy, rather than, taking place in a new story within this world. We kind of intersect a little too closely within this entry, for my taste, with that first trilogy. So I am going to be continuing this trilogy, because, I'm going to eventually read all of Mark Lawrence's stuff. I actually realized recently my library has got all of his work, including the Dispel Illusion and all that sort of stuff. So that's awesome. I then got a review copy of Army of the Curse by Kareem Solomon. And I also gave this one a 3 out of 5. Or was it a 3.5 out of 5? My main issue here was that I didn't realize that this was a sequel trilogy. And it can stand on its own, but it mentions so many events from the first trilogy that I felt kind of robbed of that experience. And I wish I had read that first, and I wish I had known that there was more books set within this world that I could explore. And so I kind of, I was like, oh, maybe I'm missing out. I feel like I'm missing something. Don't get me wrong, this is a different generation. It's like a time jump between the series, but there are carryover characters, carryover events, mentions, and just it's mentioned a whole lot. And I was just like, I wish I'd known that. And so I felt like I was robbed of an enriching experience by not having read that initial trilogy. Okay, moving right along, because we've got some books that we've read. Fool's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is the second in the Fitz and the Fool trilogy, and this means I have one book left, and Realm of the Elderlings. And in pure Fitz Hobb fashion, she didn't pull any punches, she was not gentle, and my emotions. This is an absolute 5 out of 5. This was probably... I was about to say my favorite read of the month, but it was definitely one of my 1, 2, 3. I had a few 5 out of 5s in this one. No, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is probably my favorite of the month, because the Fitz and the Fool trilogy is just a return to form after the disaster that was the Rain Wild Chronicles, and so I am just absolutely here for this, and I cannot wait to see where this story ends with these characters that I have been following for what feels like forever. I also read In the Orbit of Sirens by T.A. Bruno. This is a space opera with just so many big ideas that you usually find in hard sci-fi, but he's taken those ideas, made them fun, and then injected these amazing characters and these brilliant world building, and I just absolutely love this. I will be doing a dedicated review for this in the Orbit of Sirens, and you can expect that I will gush about it, because this was another 5 out of 5. I am so happy to have actually read this because I've been seeing it around Twitter forever. And I was like, man, people seem to really like this one. And then finally, like, Trin from Portable Magic was like, it's like, a Mass Effect book. And I was like, oh, you have my attention. And it was so much more than that, though. And so Denton and the crew and just the Chimera cycle is awesome. Moving along, we also wrapped up Otherland. It took me 20 years, and this was a big, beefy book. Like I said, I had a lot of chunkers this month, and this one about did me in. And guys, this one was sadly a 4 out of 5. It did not quite live up to what I thought it could have been. It was good, and I really enjoyed the experience. I just think there were some story elements in there that, Ted Williams probably could have removed, probably could have cut. We could have probably gotten there in a different way with not quite as many pages. This is what Ted Williams does. He just writes and writes and writes until you get these big, big books. I'm not upset that I read this. I am very happy. I believe Shadow March is his next series that I'm going to be picking up. And we'll probably try and do that sometime this year, maybe later in the year, so that I can then be like, up on his fantasy series. And then I think all I've got left is The Last King of Ostenard, which is a return to Ostenard. So I can't see why I wouldn't love that. All right, we are trucking right along. I read book 1 in the Regante, and this was kind of fueled by the Brothers Gwyn. And I've been watching their videos and seeing it in the background. I'm like, oh, and then they started talking about it, and they're like, oh yeah, Papa Gwyn, really likes Regante. And I was like, oh, well, if Papa Gwyn likes, Regante, I should check that out. And yeah, I can definitely see where John Gwyn got some great, great inspirations here. It's just so interesting. And of course, it's David Gemmell, because I love David Gemmell. He's probably one of my new favorite authors that I've discovered, and so I've been acquiring his entire breadth of work that he wrote throughout his life. Sadly, he's not with us anymore. But, this was something special. I'm super excited because I'm continuing the series next month with, I think it's Midnight Falcon is the second book in the Regante. And there's a slight time jump and stuff like there. But Conager is an interesting protagonist because he's a good man, but he's like the gentle giant type of good man, where he's like, hey, I'm going to be nice to you until you're not nice to me, and then you're going to regret not being nice to me. And there's so many great ideas in this, and frankly, David Gemmell was the master of heroic fantasy. Oh, did I mention Chonkers earlier? Yeah. I read and finished The Shadow Rising, which is the 4th book in the Wheel of Time. And, standard fare. I love Wheel of Time. I'm not going to really harp on it. I believe I gave this one a 4 out of 5, which is down from 5 out of 5. I remember liking this one more than I did this read through. And, of course, I've been doing it on audio, but I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing through onto Fires of Heaven next month. And, that's really all I got to say about Wheel of Time. And then, now you'll understand why I got done with the Chonkers. Alright, guys, this is the biggest book I think I've ever read, other than maybe Green Angel Tower, but it should surprise nobody when it's Stephen King's The Stand, the uncut edition, coming in at a whopping 1,154 pages. I did this one, I think, in 5 days. And I am so happy because I loved this book. I gave this a 5 out of 5. In fact, I believe sometime this month you can expect, hopefully it's this month, you can expect a live show. I've reached out to some people and I've got a tentative agreement. And guys, you are not going to want to miss this. It is going to be a stellar cast, or panel, I should say, if I can get everybody on board and just get it all scheduled. I am so excited to talk about this because, it's brilliant. It's a masterpiece, and I finally understand why everybody rants and raves about The Stand. And, I'm so happy that I read it. It was chef's kiss. So good. And then we've got kind of 2 more books and a novella to talk about. I am currently reading The 1,000 Names by Django Wexler. I am mostly done with it. In fact, I think I'm further than this. Yeah, no, I'm actually much further than this. Well, I won't say much, but I'm 3 chapters further than this is. So let's move the bookmark. I'm actually right here. And it's really, really good. But I don't feel like it is... So, it's Flintlock fantasy, obviously. It's kind of more Napoleonic and inspired Flintlock fantasy. But I was expecting something more magical with my Flintlock fantasy. Fantasy being the operative word. There are fantasy elements in here, but they are very light. It is a sprinkling, if you want to Salt Bay that. It's very, very light. Very, 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 there I go with those very, very's again. But it just does not feel... It feels more like a historical fiction. Great military battles and stuff like that. I think this one's a 4 out of 5. So far, I have not been blown away. It's got good character work. It's got good settings. It's just not quite to my taste. I would like more fantastical elements. And then because I've got like 2 days left and I finished my TBR, I'm currently reading Prelude to Ashes by Tiago Abdallah. This is The Ashes of Averin .5. And I believe it's available with his newsletter. If you sign up for it, I'm enjoying it immensely, of course. I love Tiago's writing, and it's got a great cover. I think he did the cover himself. I think he told me that, which, spot on. I love it. And then, because I've had this for forever, and I've been wanting to get to it, I'm going to be closing out the month. I haven't started this one yet, but with some self-pub, and that's Paladin Unbound by Jeffrey Spite, not Sprite. And guys, this looks gorgeous. It's got a great cover. It's nice and short, and I'm hoping to just knock this one out of the park. All right. And if you've made it this far, I believe I mentioned a giveaway. And you'll notice the background has changed. You'll see something behind me. Well, we reached 2,000 subscribers this month. And I wanted to just say thank you. So I'm going to be giving away my hardcover collection, Mylar Wrapped, of The Expanse books. Now, before you get too excited, this is going to be a US-based giveaway. And keep in mind that I have picked up most of these used. In fact, I believe one of them is a used library book. So it does have, I gotta find it first. It does have a stamp from the library and a sticker on the back. So these are used copies. They are Mylar wrapped because some of the dust jackets had a little bit of bleed and I wanted to protect them. But this is a series that I have been enjoying more on audio and it's taking up a lot of space in my collection. I just don't think I'll ever read them again. But I know it's a really beloved series. So to enter this giveaway, make sure you are liking this video and you are subscribed. Drop in the comment section down below an emoji of a spaceship or an alien. And I will do a random generator using those 2 emojis and we will select a random winner. Now, I know what you're saying. Andrew, that is only a US only giveaway. Well, I'm international. What about me? Well, I'm going to do something else for you guys. So, I am trying to get to 1,000 1,000 followers, I should say, on Twitter. And in order, I'm going to be doing a $25 Amazon e-gift card or, thing of that nature. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this video to my Twitter account. And all you have to do is follow on Twitter, retweet, and tag 2 of your friends to do the exact same. And I will, if we hit 1,000 followers on Twitter, I will basically go through and anybody who retweeted and did all of those things, somebody will get a $25 e-gift card for Amazon or Book Depository, what have you. That said, guys, until next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.